So this section, we're looking at similar polygons. This first one, though, it's actually a review from 9th grade math because we're talking about similar triangles. So if I look at my answers, I'm just going to rewrite the first one. Triangle ABC. That's what that means. So from A to B to C, that makes a triangle. And then this little squiggly line means similar. So this is saying it's similar to triangle EDC. So this triangle from E to D to C. Are they similar by the angles? Angle, angle. A is for angle, S is for side. So for this particular triangle, we know nothing about the angles. Well, technically we know that those are the same because they're vertical, but we don't know any other measures about the angles. So it does not have to do with angles. It's not that one. They might be similar. So in order to be similar, the sides have to have the same ratio from triangle to triangle. So from triangle to triangle. So let's see. So look at our sides. You can tell which ones match. 8 goes with 10. So if this is similar, then these are all going to have the same ratio. 12 goes with 15. And our last one, 16, goes with 20. So I want you to notice all of my numerators come from ABC. All my denominators come from EDC. Make sure you keep those in order. So let's see. 8 tenths is 0.8 or 4/5. 12 fifteenths is 0.8. And last one, 16 over 20. So notice how all of these fractions reduce to 4/5 and they're all equal to each other. What that means is that the triangles are similar. Yay! And they're similar because of the sides. So side, side, side. Alright, let's look at the next one. So if side L to N is 8, if side N to N is 10, Q to P is 25, we want to calculate L to P. So what's this length? Assume L and Q and L and P are similar. So that's important because if I have the little triangle, L and Q, and then the big triangle, L and P, if these are similar to each other, that means they have the same ratio between the sides, just like we did on the last one. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite the sides. L to M is 8. We don't know L to Q, but we're going to find it. I'm going to call that our X for this one, because L to N is 8 plus 10, which is 18. And then this, Q to P, is 25, but we don't know that value, it's X. So I'm going to call that 25 plus X. So if we write our ratios again, just like we did on our last one, 8 to 18 is equal to X to 25 plus X. Those are equal because they're similar triangles. So now what? Now we have to solve. So when we have something like this with an equal sign and two fractions, we do this thing called cross multiply. So I'm going to take 8 times 25 plus X, and then the equal sign comes down, and then we do the other side. 18 times X. multiply the opposite sides of the fraction and put an equal sign between them. What that does is it gets rid of the fraction, and now we have an equation. So I'm going to solve for x. So 8 times 25 is what? Can you do it in your head? 200 plus 8 times x is 8x, and then 18 times x is just 18x. So now we have an equation. We want to get x by itself, so I'm going to minus 8x from both sides. So now I have 200 equals 10x. Divide both sides by 10. X equals 20. That's not any of our answers. It's because we found this. This is 20. We found this small side. So if we want to find all the way from L to P, we would take 20 plus 25, which is 45. Okay, so A to Y is 8, I to T is 11, L to Y is 2, calculate E to T. So it tells us that they're similar. Kite, similar to fly up. So that means we set up the ratios and we know they're equal. So the sides have to match. 11 to 2 is equal to x to 8. This one's going to be easier. Now when we cross multiply, 11 times 8 equals 2 times x. 11 times 8 is 88, and then 2x. So now we're already ready to solve. We divide both sides by 2, x equals 44. Do a couple more here. Okay, so calculate YZ. So we're trying to find this little piece. If WY is 22.3, XY is 22, and VZ is 42. And then again, this is really critical. They tell us W, V to Z. That's the big triangle. Oops, that's not W. W's at the top. Is similar to the little triangle WXY. So I like to draw them separate just so we can line up the sides. Okay, so I have the bottoms, 42, 22, those go together. And then the side of the smaller one is 22.3. And we need to find this long side is going to be 22.3 plus x. Okay, so now let's set up our ratios. So 42 goes to 22 equals 22.3 plus x goes with 22.3. And now we're going to cross multiply. So times these, 42 times 22.3 equals, then we times these, 22 times 22.3 plus x. And we're going to solve. So 42 times 22.3 is 936.6. 22 times 22.3, I'm just going to go change that. 490.6 plus 22x. Okay, now we got to get x by itself. So we're adding this 490. I'm going to subtract it to the other side. And I'll be left with 22x equals 936.6 minus the 490.6, which is 446. And then get x by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 22. So 446 divided by 22 is 20.27. And that would be our answer. Because we found x right here. So 20.27. Alright, if AD equals 4, I'm going to label everything. So A to D is 4, D to C is 14, B to E is 6.5. We want to find E to C. So what happens here is these parallel lines help us out a lot. When we have parallel lines, we don't have to do the whole triangle. We can just take segments. I can go 4 to 14 is similar to 6.5 to x. So we like when there's parallel lines in the triangle. What that does is it makes these angles the same and these angles the same, and we just take the segments. Okay, so now we cross multiply. 4 times x equals 14 times 6.5. So 4x equals 91. And then we're going to divide both sides by 4. So 91 divided by 4 is 22.75. That's our answer. And one more. So I'm going to label everything. We're going to calculate G to H. So that's our X. LP is 30. I to F is 10. N to M is 15. M to L is 23. So this is one of those questions that has more information than what we need. Okay, we have 5 things, we only need to use 4. We definitely need X. So this is flipped. What side goes with X? It's not 15. It's the one that slants down. So X goes with 30. Make sure you align your sides. And then 10 goes with, going across, 15. So we actually don't need this 23. They give it to us, but we're not going to use it. So our ratio set up, now we cross multiply. 15 times x equals 30 times 10. 15x equals 300. Divide both sides by 15. X equals... Oops. Thought I hit enter. Apparently not. 20.